All right. It's ironic. Hearing of Tethys's Garen's crime first gave me the courage to confess my own and join the Legion of the Dead, knowing that a paragon's son could give in to the same base passions as a mere merchant's, commit a murder even fouler than mine. Yet he was sentenced to die in the deep roads for murdering his sister, not even offered the chance at the Legion. I'm grateful every day for what the Legion gave me, a family, a purpose, and my name is clear. So when the Paragon learned that the Carta were responsible for the murder and not his son, I was the first to volunteer to retrieve the prince. It's not right that he should be the only one who doesn't know he's been exonerated. Malev Heron, Legion of the Dead.
The Legion of the Dead? Sent after Paragon Garen's heir? Why does that sound familiar? I think Garen was sometime in the early Exalted Age. Hundreds of years ago.
Do you think they found him?
Who knows?
Ew. Yeah. Bodies of giant dead spiders. Try to ignore them. Paragon Garen refuses to give up. We're the 8th Legion unit he's sent after Tethras in the past 5 years. None dare tell him that after so long alone in the deep roads, Tethras is certainly dead. The Paragon insists that he will see his heir restored to his rightful place. May the ancestors favor his cause. We have followed the paths of the other Legionnaires, and so far we seem to be on the right trail. We're in a section of the deep roads that appears to have been altered by human magic, so perhaps we'll find some new clue here. We're going in tomorrow. Ancestors be with us.
That's where I know the name. Tethras Garen should have been the heir to the Garen clan. But he was accused of killing his sister and sent into the deep roads to die. When the real murderer was caught, they tried to find him. They never could. Instead, every Garen heir from that time on took the name Tethras in his honor. One of them became a paragon in his own right, and founded my clan.
I'm sorry. This is a hard way to learn about your family.
So this was one of your ancestors?
Not directly, but a little closer than I like to come to my past, you know.
No, Varric.
Nothing's going to jump out. Sympathy for the one who's
not doing anything. Now you fall. How about you?
How can anything live here? What do the Darkspawn feed on?
Dumont's ritual scroll. The writing on this ancient parchment is barely legible, but it appears to concern a rite of silence. Place the offerings on the altar, and then kneel before it. With abject humility, head bowed and hands clasped. These are our offerings, O Lord of Silence.
Those torches seem a little odd.
gauntlets of the fortress. So this is the Altar of Dumont.
Blessed are you, Dumont. Silent and strong, secret and wise. Accept these offerings and share your strength.
Yeah, no. Look out, it's deep stalkers versus giant spiders that look like Mabari. This place is cursed. For 10 years, Paragon Garen has been sending legionnaires to search out our lost heir. Now I know what's become of them. There's no way out. This is no normal part of the deep roads. There's lyrium worked into the walls, into the stone itself. Some kind of human magic. From the outside, it looks like just another tunnel. But walk in, and it's a prison. There's no way past the barriers, no way forward, no way back. But the trap remains open to every beast, darkspawn, and dwarf that wanders in. My brothers in the Legion have died, and I have done my best to lay their spirits to rest in the stone. I am the last. There will be no one to do the same for me, or for Tethras. If he too is snared by this noose, for you, my prince, I wish you the stone's blessing. Atras Tunsha, Totornia, Amgatol Tavash, Iduk. May someone recite the ritual words over your bones and return your spirit to the stone.
These poor dwarves. They were just trying to help someone and they've been trapped here for centuries.
I think that would have been another piece of Dumont right there, but no.
What is that smell? I think I'm gonna pass
Tethras.
Atras Tunsha. Totania Amegtol Tavash Iduk.
That was sweet, Hawk. Now let's get out of here before you see me cry.
Aww. 44 defense, magic resistance. I remember always thinking, like, that's rather cheap. Wait until we just walk over and then BAM! Now, this is the part where if we brought Anders, he'd be like, oh gosh, my head, The records say Corypheus has been trapped below the Vimarks since the days of the Tevinter Imperium. Can it be a coincidence that the Darkspawn besieged this area more fiercely than anywhere else on the surface of Thetis? Or that Kirkwall, the closest city, suffers from endless plagues of violence and lunacies, human sacrifice, and blood magic. If one studies Kirkwall's public records, it becomes hard to deny that some malevolent force has long shaped its history. Could a Darkspawn, even a powerful mage, have such influence even as it slumbers? From a weathered journal bearing the Grey Warden seal. we go.
He feels the seals weaken. He knows you are close. You must be ready. What's that? Who? No! No! They're here!
Speak plainly.
The Wardens. They listen to Corypheus. They want to bring him the light. Stop them. You must stop them.
Something's happening. The prison's breaking down. But it stood up to tunneling before. What can... You have the key. And you've come through the seals. But how? Can you be Hawke, the child of Malcolm? The Carters said they were close. You must be her. I am Janica. I lead this unit of Grey Wardens.
Why are the Wardens so interested in my father?
Then you don't know. Without Malcolm, this prison would have fallen 30 years ago.
I'm not here for touching family stories.
The Grey Wardens built this prison to contain one of the most powerful Darkspawn we've ever encountered. But even the best magic fades. The Wardens need to reinforce the seals. This requires the blood of a mage untainted by Warden training. The last to perform the ritual was your father.
My father was a blood mage.
To avert the blights, forbidden magics are sometimes necessary.
That's an argument we have to guard against. My father knew that.
He did not bind the demons, if that is your concern. That was done in another era, before the Chantry's laws.
You're not using my blood for anything.
We need your help, Hawke. I have done extensive research on this Darkspawn, and I believe the original Wardens were wrong. He isn't a threat to humanity. He's our greatest opportunity. A Darkspawn who can talk, feel, reason.
Corypheus cares nothing for blights. He used you.
The Warden Commander?
Don't listen to this creature. He's half Darkspawn himself. I know how to harness Corypheus. Use his magic to end the blights.
No. The Wardens knew. Corypheus is too powerful.
Father would have considered this, done the research. Trust that he was right.
Worth the risk. If he doesn't help, it's one more big darkspawn to stick a bolt in. No big deal.
A Darkspawn and a mage. Just what the world needs.
Corypheus calls her, and she listens. She brought him the Carter, sent them for you.
You must help us.
Why would this Darkspawn want to end the blights?
He's no mindless monster. This search for the old gods comes at a terrible cost to his people.
He tricked you. These are not your thoughts. They are his calling.
How many of them died in Ferelden alone? And that was the least of the blights.
How could you trust any deal this Darkspawn makes with you?
Do not think me foolish, Hawke. I am making no deal. I have a spell which can control Corypheus. Bind him to my will. He will be a new, important weapon in the war on the blights. No more, no less.
Are you talking about using blood magic?
Everything that was done to him was through the power of blood. The Wardens imprisoned Corypheus before the Chantry banned such magic. It is the only way to hold him.
A convenient excuse.
So, I told you we're siding with Janica this time, and just wait till you see how well her plan goes.
Larius is a madman. Let's use every weapon we have against the Blight.
No. Would you destroy us all? Do you turn on me, Durston? Alec? Roland? I led you. Who do you serve?
You bastards. With me, Hawke. We must beat them to the seal.
So yeah, they side with whoever you don't side with. And because we side with Janica, we're going to go through a different route in this prison than we would in the Larius route, which I believe this one does not include that puzzle that we do if we side with Larius. So if you want to avoid doing that puzzle, because maybe you weren't fond of it or whatever, side with Jenica.
Jenica and the Hawk? Together?
Stop gawking, fools. Larius and those traitor wardens are on their way to kill Corypheus. Go down the other passage and deal with them. I want them dead.
Yes, Jenica. Look!
This is Larius's doing. I'll deal with it. Go.
Yes, Jenica.
Why are the Carter on your side?
I needed their strength and their numbers to release Corypheus. I led them to him. Showed them where to dig.
Were you behind the attacks on my family?
I hope you can forgive me. Had I known you would cooperate willingly, I would never have done it.
I broke the seals. How was Larius doing this?
There is more to this place than the seals binding Corypheus. Every inch of this labyrinth is a trap. Larius has been here for years. He knows its secrets better than anyone.
Enough chatter. Larius is making his way to Corypheus as we speak.
Agreed. Larius wishes to bar my way. Huh. We'll see about that. These things are the sources of the magic that powers the barriers. Destroying it will take too much time, but I can affect the flow of magic to the barriers. Let's continue. Leave it to me. My spell only seems to work on one of these at a time. It will just have to do.
So yeah, it's a different type of puzzle.
Larius knows this labyrinth better than anyone. Do we even have a chance of beating him?
We'll find out.
This one is down. Let's move on.
Larius' final missive. My dearest brothers and sisters, I am leaving to take that last long walk into the deep. I have been a Grey Warden for a full 30 years, and the joining can only hold back the taint for so long. These last months, the song of the archdemons has become not a whisper to me, but a terrible roaring that I cannot endure. My conscience compels me to leave before the corruption becomes too much, before the madness takes over. I believe this is a misspelling, because it says, I has been. I has been my honor. I believe that's a typo. It's supposed to say, it has been my honor serving with every single one of you. I go to the deep roads to meet my death in combat against our eternal foe. When my brothers in Orzammar salute my departure, I will walk proudly in my duty, and joyful in the knowledge that my burden will soon be lifted. Remember me, and do not fear your own calling when the time comes. Larius, Command of the Grey.
Down. Let's move on. This one is down. Let's move on.
The helm of Vysot. The labyrinth has claimed Warden Commander Astor. Ulrich tampered with one of the magical seals in this place and unwittingly released a demon upon us. Commander Astor ordered us to run. He would hold the creature back while we activated the prison's defenses, trapping them both. The barriers came up, and they will stay up. This was Commander Astor's last instruction, and we will follow it to the letter. We are unable to retrieve the Warden Commander's prized helm and the other trappings of his office. They will not be returned to Weishaupt and will remain with the Commander, wherever he may be. From a torn Grey Warden report, the writing barely legible.
No further!
No further? Did you really think you could stop me? I will reach Corypheus, and I will harness his power.
No! Never! Your path ends here!
I like how each golem had some kind of different buff. One was magic resistant, one had health regen, you know. Kind of requiring you to attack each of them differently. Alright, here we go. The prison tower. So yeah, you notice the different path. In my opinion, that's actually a bit of an easier path to do than the other.
What's so nice about it?
I was just wondering what someplace sinister and foreboding would look like. And here it is.
Yep. Alright, before we do this, let me go ahead and do this level up here. Go ahead and increase Hawk's critical chance. Give Varric more health, because he's going to need it. Might be the last time I level up Bethany in quite a while. Quick save. Here we go.
You can't stop me, Larius. The Wardens will see I'm right about this. With Corypheus's power, we can end the Blights forever.
Hawk, you must listen. Janica is blind to the truth. Corypheus is using her.
Larius has accused you of this several times. Is it true?
Of course it isn't. He's a madman, twisted by years in the deep roads. You know I'm right, Hawk.
She should not wear the griffin. She is a traitor to the Wardens.
One step closer and you're dead.
Better to die than live with Corypheus free. Wardens!
He sleeps now, but not for long. The last of the prison's magic still holds him. The key alone won't open this seal. Use your blood. Free him now so we can take him while he's weak. Look, that seems to have weakened the spell.
Just 3 more to go.
Are you certain this is a good idea?
It takes Hawk blood to open his prison. I imagine he won't stop until he has what he wants.
Isn't that always the way with these ancient prisons?
You feel that? It's like something is lifting. Last chance to change your mind.
Be careful, sister.
Can't turn back now. Hi, Corypheus.
He emerges. I will bind him.
Oh, by all means. Let's see how well this goes.
Oh, shit.
Yup.
Be this some dream I wake from? Am I in dwarven lands? Why seem their roads so empty? You! Serve you at the Temple of Dumont? Bring me hence. I must speak with the first acolyte.
The Wardens. They captured Corypheus just after the First Blight. This was part of the Imperium, then.
You look human. Are you not citizens of the Empire? Slaves, then, to the dwarves. Why come you here? Whoever you be, you owe fealty to any Magister of Tevinter. On your knees. All of you.
So let me take a moment here to say that I like Corypheus like this, and honestly, I kind of wish they had kept him like this. Spoilers for Inquisition, he's the big bad main villain in Inquisition. That's why this DLC is mandatory to play in this game before you move on to Dragon Age Inquisition. So, because otherwise you may not get the full story about who he is and why him showing up is kind of a big deal. Now, does he seem probably more powerful in Inquisition than he does here? Yeah, you could probably make a case for that. But you notice a kind of a change in how he talks and such in Inquisition compared to how he is here. And, well, let's just say I'll try and probably point that out when we get to Inquisition. But I kind of like how he is here with the way he speaks, but then also this kind of, like, not really sure of what's going on, because he's been frozen in time and has no idea how much time has actually passed while he's been trapped here. That's why he's like, wait, wasn't this a Temple of Dumont? Are you not servants of the Temple of Dumont of the Empire? Well, then bow to me, because he's a Magister. And, well, and that's why that's yet another reason why I find the dialogue with Dorian in Inquisition so fascinating and interesting, because we finally get a perspective from someone who actually lives in Tevinter. And up until that point, we didn't have anybody to be like, give us that inside perspective. So, yeah. I kind of prefer the way Corypheus is here, and unfortunately, I think they kind of dropped the ball with Corypheus and Inquisition. I'm not entirely sure what they were trying to do or wanted to do in that regard, but in my opinion, they kind of brought Corypheus a step down in terms of a character. Not necessarily in terms of power level, even though in this, we're about to have a pretty rough and tough boss fight, because he's pretty strong here, and this fight can get really rough and tricky. Like, you know, you could die in this fight pretty easily and have to redo this fight numerous times on higher difficulties. But in terms of a character and personality, I wish they had done more with him in Inquisition than this, if they, in fact, were going to go with him continuously. By the way, this, of course, you'll notice the similarities between him and the Architect from Awakening, right? Yeah, once the connection was kind of revealed through Corypheus and Inquisition, that basically the Architect was also one of these former Magisters of Tevinter who became a Darkspawn, because remember what I read to you earlier about Dumont. The followers of Dumont were the ones who went into the Golden City and did the corruption, therefore they were punished and be turned into Darkspawn. So, by the way, if you have Vengeance here with you, this is where he adds that extra dialogue here as we talk with him, because he'll lend us that extra bit of lore and dialogue here about what he thinks about that whole thing.
If Janica can't control you, I won't risk leaving you alive.
You are what held me. I smell the blood in you. Dumont, Lord, tell me, what waking dream is this? The light. We sought the golden light. You offered the power of the gods themselves. But it was black, corrupt. Darkness. Ever since. How long?
He speaks of the Golden City. He was one of them, the Magisters who violated the Maker's sacred space. They became the first Darkspawn. It was he and his kind who brought the Blight down on all of us.
The original Magisters? It is their depravities the Magisters of today strive to live up to. If they still exist, in any form, we should wipe them from the face of Thedas.
Corypheus must have been controlling me, whispering in my mind. That's what the Wardens meant. He can speak through the corruption.
Yeah, he also has another line coming up that I really like, where I've been talking about how I kind of prefer his personality and character here than in Inquisition. Like, he has a line coming up I really like where he's like, he thinks more about what happened, because it comes across that Corypheus has a bit of a superiority complex, believing that he deserved that. You know, that they went to the Golden City because he, and perhaps other Magisters thought the same way, he believed he deserved it. That was his by, that it belonged to him because he was a Magister, like on par with, with a god. He can be able to, be one of those ancient mage Magisters, wielding the power of the gods themselves. It should belong to us, to me. I am Corypheus, an ancient Magister of Tevinter. It belongs to me. It should have been mine. I kind of like that. That kind of like helps explain kind of his motivation, but also that he's still upset about that whole thing that went down. That it didn't end up becoming his when he believes it should have been his. It's something I just find kind of appealing compared to what we get in Inquisition.
If he's been calling the Wardens to free him, what's his plan? He seems confused.
I don't know. Everything I've read says he's been asleep in stasis. Perhaps calling us was only an instinct. But he can still become the threat the Wardens always thought he was. Larius was right. We must destroy him.
If he could reach the Black City, who knows what else he's capable of? We need to kill him.
The city! It was supposed to be golden! It was supposed to be ours!
That's the line.
If I cannot leave with you, I will leave through you. I seek the light. Blood Lord. The blood is mine. Dumont, grant me your powers.
This is where the fight can get pretty rough.
The fire in my veins.
Because...
Cannot avoid my fires.
yeah, now he does that. We also can't attack him during this. And that fire hurts because, as you can see, it just killed my teammates.
He's drawing power from the statues. Destroy them while we still can. Bethany, no! There's nothing.
And there's something more.
Hold on. Is there a way I can revive them? I don't think so.
Here he comes.
Burn, you.
This is why this fight can be rough, because usually your party members can all of a sudden just die. And as you can see, he has a lot of health.
Dumont, grant me your powers. The power is mine. I am scurry, little rat.
Oh yeah, not just fire, but now he puts up these other things as well.
You will die before you touch me, worm.
Cut off the flow of power.
I'm still using the key because I don't know if it's... I don't remember if this is a required thing. For this fight, so I'm just going to go ahead and keep on using it.
And if there's something more.
Besides, I don't know if I can change during a fight anyway.
The walls are closing in. The lightning strikes me!
This wolf is useless.
Feel the chill! You cannot outrun it! You cannot escape!
So yeah, fire, rocks with electricity to shock you, and ice falling down.
You are stronger than I thought!
You see what I mean about this fight being rough? Because, oh my goodness.
There must be a way to weaken him.
I cannot tell you how many times I've done this fight, and my party always dies. Just every time this comes up, the fire always kills my party. And I'm having to do this all by myself.
And if there's something more! Is there a chill in the air?
See you in Inquisition, Corypheus.
There's a lesson to be learned.
So how you three doing? You alright? You done taking a little nap over there? Got some injury kits for you guys. There we go. Chestplate of the Fortress. Cinch of the Imperium. Plus we'd also find this thing on him from Ancient Tevinter that Vengeance would notice and comment on.
Hawk, I'm so sorry. I feel like such a fool. I really thought I could do it. It never entered my mind that Corypheus had planted that thought.
You should fall on your sword before you shame the Wardens further.
You're right. The call. I hear it now, even with him gone. I'll return to the Commander, report on what happened here. Then it's time for me to take the long walk. My gratitude you have, for returning me to myself. I feel like a whole new person.
Yep. Because she was.
I said you wouldn't believe me.
When the Seekers arrived at the structure, this prison, it was destroyed. The Grey Wardens were there, but they said an entire unit had been lost. They did not mention this Janica. And now you claim the champion was not only there, but defeated a Magister. One of the Magisters of old.
Left there by the Wardens themselves.
A curious tale. I wonder if there's more to it.
A small matter. The one lasting treasure to emerge from this? A moment together for the family. In happier times.
It's amazing how the past haunts us. All this hardship, because of what happened so many years ago. Did Father think it was worth it? He certainly knew it was too shameful to mention. He was wise not to share it with Mother, or any non-mage.
It gets harder every year to remember what Father was like.
I thought he knew everything. You know, as much as he had to spend time training me, he was so proud of you and Carver, his little soldiers. He'd still be proud, even after all this.
He did what he had to, just like all of us.
And I owe him so much. Both him and Mother. I wish... Well, perhaps it doesn't matter. Thank you for taking care of everything, sister.
You are not so different. Not beneath. I see so much of Malcolm in you both. Apparently, even in my dotage, I know him better now than I did at the time. He kept so many secrets. I may have been willfully blind.
How did you even meet? A Ferelden apostate and Kirkwall elite.
Mages were sometimes called to perform at the Viscount's functions. Malcolm was not what I pictured. Young, strong, never considered himself anything but the equal of every man. Very like you. But it was so long ago. We have a new life, and we must think of tomorrow. Malcolm gave us that.
It's hard to think of how much we've lost.
Sometimes. But look at what you've done for us. Malcolm gave us the chance, and you're the one who brought us where we are. We all know that, even if we sometimes linger in a moment that is better forgotten. I've done enough of that. We are blessed, and should live as such. As much as we can choose to.
And that was the Legacy DLC for Dragon Age 2. So now that that is done, and you can probably guess why I wanted to do that as before we continue with the plot, because, well, let's just say Leandra, well, for those of you who actually may not know, even though I kind of already gave this away, but if you also, you know, yeah, something happens to Leandra, which complicates her actually being here if we do this later in the game. So, anyways, when we return, I think it's about time. Well, I'm probably also going to want to try and work on finishing these, but we'll probably do that in the process of continuing with the actual main plot, which will, of course, be able to unlock more things as we continue. Stay tuned.